Welcome to the latest edition of Cageside Speaks. My name is 14 Fitzpatrick, and for today's edition of the show, we got the Apocalypse SummerSlam edition. For those of you who have been just joining us from the Takeover podcast, welcome, because we brought together a group of Cagesiders to talk about SummerSlam. The 4-hour-long show, 6 hours if you count the pre-show. And we brought together a group of Cagesiders for this special edition of the show. First up, making her second appearance is Things and Stuff.
Hello.
Also making his second appearance is Elam.
Hello.
Making his second appearance as well is the notorious Eddie Mack.
And gentleman that needs no introduction in this civilized world. How's everyone today?
Making his third appearance as well is Drew Nichols.
Hello, hello.
And also making his third appearance is this was his final live blog, Bacon Strips.
One live blog too many. How y'all doing?
Always better to go out one too early than one too late.
So to start things off, we're going to be talking about the tag team match that happened between Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens, and Enzo Amore and Big Cass, or as I like to call them for things, Loud and Louder. I want to get your thoughts on this match and see where it leads to anything. And we're going to start off with Drew.
Well, first of all, hello, everybody. Well, yeah, I really like that match a lot. I really love Kevin Owens and Jericho together. I think they're just a great tag team. I feel like it's not going to work out much longer, considering some of the rumors of what the booking was going to be. But, yeah, I like Enzo and Cass. I think that their shtick, so to speak, is getting a little bit tiring now, so I'm actually on Things Aside with them. Starting to get a little annoying to me. But I thought the match was really good, and people probably don't expect me to say I think the right men actually won the match.
Well, I think that it was the right call. Although I know Enzo and Cass are kind of based in Brooklyn, New York, but this was the right call in this case, because you need to start building up Owens again after his losses to Zayn, and I'm not sure what they got planned for Jericho.
Counter-argument!
I don't know what they got planned for Jericho, but we'll see where they go from there. Eddie, what are your thoughts?
And here's my counter-argument. Did you see how quick that crowd died after Enzo and Cass lost?
Yeah, they did die pretty quickly, but they kind of...
And if it wasn't for Styles and Cena, I don't think they would have gotten them back for the rest of the night.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I mean, because what made them sad was Enzo and Cass losing, and then, of course, the next match happened, which...
Oh my God! They chased that with that, and they chased that with what followed after that.
Yeah, so basically it was double the sads.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't even remember what happened to SummerSlam. It was way too long.
You watched the pre-show?
I did.
No.
I also skipped it, so and I got an issue with the length of SummerSlam, but I'll save that for later.
I had to get my Mojo Rawley hit.
So, because of the fact that they were in the Cena bubble for you things, did you watch this match?
I did not. Actually, we got all worked up. It was time for the show to start, and here comes two idiots. I'm sorry. It's something about part of it's the loudness, part of it is that they're so rude, and yet I'm supposed to cheer for them. All they do is, they're like the Rock. All they do is pick up people. And I don't know, so they came out my favorite time. But I did feel kind of bad that I was missing Jericho with Owens. I'm I'm also not sure of it, but I feel like the dynamic between them looked promising, but it wasn't worth the cast to get to see their contest.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least Loud and Louder lost, so that was the good thing. So, Bacon, what are your thoughts on this match?
There was a match. Dead serious, I don't remember any of it. I mean, remember the spot where Jericho did the Shatter Machine ripoff, but other than that, I can't tell you what happened. And I blogged it. That was bad. Then again, I blogged for 6 freaking hours, so at that point, it was the start of hour 3, so I was starting to feel it, so it just got worse, but honestly, I don't remember much.
Oh my goodness.
They killed the crowd, like Eddie said, they killed the crowd badly, and I don't think they, really they didn't get him back at all, except for that one little blurb, that match called Styles and Cena. Mm-hmm. It was a great way to start the show. Great way to start the show.
Yeah, it was the local team losing to the Canadians. Well, technically, Chris Jericho's from New York, but regardless.
Am I the only one who finds it odd that Jericho everything? Like, I don't mind that. For me personally, he's the most engaging before. But I mean, he's been in for like 600 years. And why doesn't anyone?
The ominous foghorn just hit. See, Elam, what are your thoughts on this match, if you can remember it?
I kind of liked it, but mostly for Kevin Owens' banter. I don't really like Enzo and Cass anymore. I'm just tired of their shtick. I'm not a New Age Outlaws did the same, but I was a kid back then, so it didn't really stand out to me. But it does a lot now. I just wish they changed it up a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, because the thing is that Carmella brought a lot to that dynamic that they're now missing, and now they're on separate brands, and they're also now separate alignments. So we'll see where Enzo and Cass go from here, but there's some ominous signs. And speaking of ominous signs, let's talk about match number 2. Oh boy, this is the other match. If you watch the TakeOver broadcast, I referred to the fact that, well, the Bayley-Asuka match was just really destroyed Andrew M. Swift, and this was the other match that really... He's such a big Sasha Banks fan. He actually did a 12-part odyssey on Sasha Banks, and now he's doing a 12-part, 2,000-page odyssey on Bayley. I think he's maybe surpassed that. Now, Charlotte versus Sasha Banks. This match left quite a few people very uncomfortable because of some spots in the match that where it looked like Sasha may have gotten hurt. And I want to get your folks' opinion on this one. What did you think of it? We'll start off with Eddie.
It was a fun wrestling match, and it had some uncomfortable bumps, to say the least. I mean, I cringed a little bit watching that. You know, I hate that Charlotte won. I'll say that.
Of course.
Why? Literally, 90% of the match is like, oh my god, that's awesome, followed by, oh my god, why would you do that? I'm conflicted by everything else with the match, but how it ended. I hated it. I hated how it ended. I hated it.
I mean, if Sasha is legitimately hurt, then I think getting the belt off of her is the smart choice, but...
Yeah...
It's the Charlotte again. Oh, boy. What are your thoughts on the match, Drew?
Yeah, there were a lot of cringe-worthy spots in that match. Particularly that one that we see all the time. I think it was just... Somebody posted it in the Daily yesterday. Of Charlotte basically just dropping Sasha from the second rope. And
I think it was on top rope, wasn't it?
Second rope.
It doesn't even matter which rope it was. It was still...
Yeah, that's a good point.
Really not a good thing to do, and certainly not something that you'd think an experienced wrestler would do to another experienced wrestler,
You know what?
especially when
You know what? You know what the drop reminded me of a little bit, and I know I'm about to show my age. Go ahead and look us up on the YouTubes if you don't remember it. I want to say it was back in, God, I don't even remember the year now. I want to say it was 2007, but I'm not 100% sure. It probably wasn't 2007, but I'm not 100% sure on it. Remember when Candice fell off the top rope during that 2 out of 3 falls match? And she, like, drew... It was. I think it was 2008. When Candice fell and she, like, landed on her neck, and it was, like, just the worst fall. It was just bad.
Yeah.
I wasn't watching back then, so I don't even know.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and go ahead and find it. And I'll post the link there in the in this chat thing. You guys can go ahead and Google it on the YouTube, and when I find it, I'll tell you what it is. Go ahead.
I don't want to also mention that you're showing your age by saying the YouTube. But
I sometimes refer to it as the YouTube.
It makes you feel that older.
All right, so Things, what was your thoughts on this match? I know that you're not the biggest fan of either of them, but like,
Yeah, SummerSlam was funny because at the brand split, almost everything went to SmackDown. So I kind of tuned out. Raw. So I was using SummerSlam as an opportunity to check in on all the people I dumped. And I went into it thinking, well, Sasha and Charlotte will be. And it was so distracting, worried about her health from that early drop off the corner. I felt like I couldn't get into the story much because it was just so tense. I couldn't lose myself in the story. Now, all that said, since I don't really care about the character it's on, so I found the actual format of the ending positive. What I looked at is that Charlotte has always been like the big dope to get help from her dad to win. So for her to come by herself, wrestle the whole match, be strong and smart, I felt like that made me prepare for it a bit. But yeah, at the end of the day, it didn't make me super interested in her character. So I felt bad for my friends who wanted Sasha to win, and that was about it.
I mean, Swift was so dejected when Sasha lost.
Yeah.
It was like, oh wow.
And you know, that's the other thing too, is that it kind of took you out of the match seeing all of those spots because you're more concerned for Sasha's health than watching the match itself.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Bacon, what was your thoughts on this match? Whatever you can remember from it.
I actually remember this one more than I do the last match, so that's a good thing. I think what they were trying to do, it seemed like they were trying to capture the spirit of their NXT match from, like, a couple of their NXT matches. They're trying to get the one they had from Our Evolution, and then they were trying to get bits and pieces from the Fatal 4-Way at Rival, which I can appreciate that, don't get me wrong, but when Charlotte's trying to do a Roderick Strong backbreaker from the top rope and she just decides to drop Sasha, that's really not a good way to call back. I don't even think they pull out NXT, which is a good thing because obviously Charlotte can't do it without killing somebody. And then whatever other spots where they try to kill each other, I can't try to remember. I know Charlotte did a moonsault off the top rope, which I can't remember if someone nearly died from that one or what. And then the ending with kind of the callback to Rival with Charlotte pinning Sasha. Ending sucked. Yeah, it sucks that Sasha has to go injured, but still, I like the idea of the callback, but the wrong person won.
Yeah, I mean, I thought on that spot that Charlotte injured her knee. Because she was like, when she dropped Sasha, she landed awkwardly on one of her legs. And she was like, she just suddenly like jumped up and went and kicked both of her feet. It was like, oh God. Or maybe she was just reacting to the fact of, oh God, I just botched the spot. So it might have just been that.
Or a little bit of both, knowing them.
Yeah. But like Sasha is basically becoming the modern day, and for those of you who know Joshi Wrestling, Akira Hoyuto. And Vidance posted a really great article about this wrestler, and Sasha's basically emulating what she's doing. But both of them had to end their career early due to injuries. And Miss Okuto is actually battling skin cancer right now, so our best wishes to her. So, Elam, what were your thoughts on the Charlotte-Sasha match?
I'd probably call it my second favorite match of the night, although I'm really concerned about Sasha, especially after Charlotte just flat out dropped her on her neck. I really remember cringing at that. And then Sasha grabbing right at her back after that. And I couldn't tell if that was her selling or if that was just legit pain. Then they had another spot. I think Charlotte was going for like a razor's edge off the top rope.
Yeah, from the second rope.
And Sasha countered it into a head scissors. You know, I held my breath on that one.
Yeah, because both of them almost dropped on the necks. Charlotte almost dropped on her neck, and Sasha almost dropped on her neck on that spot.
The ending caught me by surprise a little because I thought Charlotte was setting up for the figure eight, but then she just wound up countering the what's the finisher again? Sasha's
Bank statement.
Bank statement.
Yeah, bank statement, and went right into the pin. So that caught me by surprise, but I still liked it. Wish somebody would wind up talking to Sasha though, because at the rate she's going, she's gonna wind up like Daniel Bryan or Edge, and that's a scary thought.
I think the reason why they gave her the 30-day injury is because of that. She's got to slow down. You know, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that, because like I know that she thinks that it's on her to save women's wrestling, but here's the thing. Another person has just come up to help, and that person debuted on Monday Night Raw, and it's Bayley. After losing to Asuka, and she's going to be the next challenger for Charlotte's belt, and we'll see where that goes from there, but that's really going to be very interesting. And it appears we've lost Eddie. So we'll move on to match number 3, which was less of a match and more of an angle. Apollo Crews versus The Miz. The Miz is 2016. If we look at it from now to the end of the year, might be one of the most underrated 2016s ever, because he has just gone and found another gear. He now has Maurice, he now has the Intercontinental title, and he is doing the best work of his career. The match itself was good, short, but it did its job. Crews lost, which was the right decision, and The Miz moved on to what appears to be starting a feud again with his old arch-nemesis, the deranged lawn gnome Daniel Bryan, during a interview segment on Talking Smack, which was after the SmackDown show. What is going on with the IC scene, guys? And we're going to start off with Elam.
I'm not really sure what they're going to do with that. Miz Crews match, I think, would have been better suited for SmackDown or maybe something on the pre-show. I was more interested in just promo or afterwards on Bryan. It's probably the best promo of his career by far. I don't really know any feuds he could go into right now, so SmackDown's got a pretty short roster on depth for that.
I mean, but thankfully, the IC belt has been established as the mid-card belt, so they can pick anybody out of a hat right now, and Miz can make the feud work. You know, he's done it before. So, Chris, what was your thoughts on this match?
If it proved one thing, it proved that they called Apollo up way, way, way too early. The guy, I mean, he's good. Like, he can do cool flippy stuff. He can do some cool power moves. He can't tell a story in the ring. Like any of his matches, I've not seen anything close to a competent story in the ring. And plus, with it being, what was it, 5 minutes 45 seconds it lasted, so it was a throwaway match. Like, it was a good match to get up and go to the bathroom or something, because I couldn't care about it. I mean, we knew Miz was going to win, because, I mean, what's Apollo doing? I mean, right now, he just seems, he's in complete limbo with them, so.
I mean, he could reform Team Dragon Gate's Bros with Kalisto. That's a possible avenue for him. But we'll see where Apollo goes from there. Andrew, what were your thoughts on this match? and the Miz Daniel Bryan angle?
I really don't have any thoughts on Miz versus Mr. Smiles because I wasn't invested. It didn't. I don't think I even watched it, to be honest with you. But the Miz versus the deranged unknown Daniel Bryan, that's a different story. That I watched a lot, and I really loved that. I agree that was probably the best promo in Miz's career, and I'm hoping that SmackDown this week has already shown that it is light years better than Raw, and I'm hoping that this angle leads to potentially more of the disgruntled heels on SmackDown, maybe kind of getting on Miz's side, and I could see maybe a SummerSlam, a Survivor Series match coming out of that.
Yeah, that's a possibility, and by then I think that they could maybe temporarily bring up all of Daniel Bryan's buddies, because right now Akira Tozawa is in the CWC tournament. He's another guy that's a former Dragon's Gate worker that he could match up with Cruz and Kalisto, because they all work together in the same promotion. That's a very interesting thought there.
Brings up something else too. What about Samoa Joe? He's kind like right now in NXT. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna touch any spoilers or anything, but they can maybe call him up.
Mhm.
Can be like, Miz talk down to Daniel Bryan, so here's your punishment, and then big ol' Samoa Joe comes out and wrecks house or something.
Yeah, that the Godzilla theme ringing in the ring, and Miz's facial expression of "Oh God, I just awoke the monster."
That'll be really fun to see.
Some great promo battles.
Yeah, they'll have some battles. Did you watch this match?
Kind of partway. Whenever Miz comes out, he always grabs my attention. I laughed out loud at his Phantom of the Opera. I thought that was fantastic. He's one that I love, and then I have more trouble tuning in to actually fight. So I wasn't that tuned. And the other thing, I feel bad, but I agree about. There was that whole thing a couple weeks ago. Miz kept calling that name, and I didn't understand what the problem was until he pointed it out. I was like, "Oh, Reed, that's not right." And it's not even his name. And so yeah, the match itself I wasn't that engaged in. The SmackDown stuff I love, but for me it's because it made me question: is there really a deal between Miz and Daniel Bryan? Because they're both fighting for, well, they're not fighting yet, but they were both arguing for really legit reasons. And so I think if you just bring somebody out, snap the heck out of it, and go, "Oh, that's, so terrible," I don't think that fight would what.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, they're fighting for the same thing basically, and
They're fighting for respect.
yeah, they're fighting for respect. They both have fought for respect for years, and it's just that Daniel, for some reason, thinks that The Miz is a coward. Miz took exception to that, especially since Daniel called him a coward right in front of his wife. You don't do that, and expect to get away with it, because The Miz is going to cause him all sorts of trouble. He's going to bring forth all sorts of monsters to try and destroy Daniel Bryan, and Daniel's going to do the same thing to him. So it's really a gray and gray feud to me, because Daniel is acting really jerkish so far in this feud, and all my sympathy so far is to The Miz.
And at the same time, I don't want the Miz to suddenly be safe, because he's got this heel thing that works so fun to watch. He's fun to appreciate and get booed, but sometimes you like the heel so much that you feel bad booed at. Miz, you feel like you're demonstrating your respect by being him, if that makes sense. It's like that's what he's asking for, and heartily booed him, and he's happy and you're happy. But if he's suddenly this like freedom fighter, but God, I don't know that that's what he needs.
I mean, The Miz could be a freedom fighter type of character. I definitely agree with that. You know,
well, I just want to mention one more thing too. You can tell that this is a WWE angle and not a shoot because this is exactly what Roman did to Rusev and Lana.
mhm. The difference being that this actually worked, and Rusev and Roman, that angle didn't really work.
No, well, most angles with Roman don't work.
I mean,
Unfortunately.
the best part of that, the best part of that angle so far was the sell job that Lana did when she crashed into the cake.
Just give that woman. She did such a good job with that.
Yeah, she did such a good job with that. Eddie is back. What are your thoughts on the Miz Daniel Bryan angle since the match?
Oh, you mean the Miz eviscerating Daniel Bryan? Oh my God!
Yes, it was like a lawn. It was like a lawnmower hitting a lawn gnome.
When I first heard it, I could not stop laughing for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, this dude is like 2 or 3 seconds from popping a blood vessel. I was kind of getting worried for him. I'm serious. Go back and look at it. If you have a moment, go back and look at it. Look at like the Miz's forehead. I mean,
There's 2 distinct veins that pop out and stay out the entire time.
I think that this has been the Miz's year. It's been so underrated. You haven't really paid attention to it.
Right.
I think that he was a big part in getting AJ Styles over when he first came in.
He's made the Intercontinental title mean something again. I mean, I don't know how much exactly. I mean, when you're fighting, Apollo Crews on the second biggest show of the year, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I tried, everyone. I tried.
No, you don't need to apologize. Continue.
I tried. I'm sorry. That belt doesn't mean anything more now than it did 6 months ago. I'm sorry, but good for Miz for trying.
The person makes the belt, not the belt makes the person. In most cases.
Right.
And
But
the Miz is doing a
I
phenomenal effort.
think it's a 2-way street though. But good for good for Miz. Good for him. I wanted, but on the other hand, I can't wait to see how deep in Daniel Bryan's. I can't wait to see how deep Daniel Bryan goes in his Rolodex to find someone to take the belt from him. And I think it goes pretty deep in the Rolodex.
Why does Daniel Bryan have a Rolodex?
I mean,
I like that image.
I can absolutely see Daniel Bryan having a Rolodex at home. He does his farming, riding a lawnmower. I can see Rolodex completely.
Joe's gonna kill him. I don't know when. I'm just telling you that.
I already called it. Or we see Brian make a call to Hideo and Tommy and see a nice GTS in the middle of SmackDown.
Yeah.
So many ways the Miz can be destroyed.
Feels like 2013 again.
Yep.
Now, I have a question, just a quick question, because something went in my head yesterday about this angle. We have on Raw, there's Stephanie, who is the heel commissioner, and Mick Foley, the babyface general manager. Would this angle, since they're playing off of Daniel Bryan not being able to come back and wrestle because the company won't let him, could this angle maybe see Daniel Bryan turn heel?
I don't think so. The fans don't really want to boo him.
There it is. So whoever said it nailed it. Fans don't want to boo Daniel Bryan.
I certainly want to boo Daniel Bryan.
I think it would be the most compelling thing from a storytelling standpoint to switch that good. But the more wrestling I watch, the more I understand that you can't quite use the same approach that you would with a power strong MTV if you have to have the fans with you, or it can just wreck it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, whatever happens, it's going to be interesting, because The Miz is all into this angle, and so is Daniel Bryan, and whatever monster Daniel brings, it's going to be really interesting to see who it is.
I had played off of Daniel Bryan potentially being a heel because of how much he is for the Brian Kendrick, who is playing a monster heel in the CWC right now.
Yeah. Brian Kendrick looks like he's about to stab somebody with a shive if he loses in the CWC. And
without looking at the spoilers, he's going to be in the finals, isn't he?
I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the spoilers. I have to see how it goes.
I have a weird feeling he's going to be in the final. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm. Well, somebody...
they gotta have one of their in-house guys in the final, so...
Mm-hmm. Speaking of somebody who probably isn't going to destroy anybody, he's just going to do the long Bruce Banner-like walk all the way back to his home in Florida, is Mr. John Felix Anthony Cena, who happened to lose to the phenomenal hobo AJ Styles in the longest match of the night. All he left was his little armband, and he left it in the middle of the ring, which apparently was stolen by AJ, and now he wears it as a hat. And, well, the good news is, AJ Styles is no longer in the Cena bubble.
Yeah. If anyone wants to know what the Cena bubble is, it's this thing I made up last time I thought. And it's the fact that Cena is just, he's in his own world, wins everything, super great, I love him. So that's his own little bubble. And whoever goes in there, story and then it can come out in the actual story again. And what was fascinating was the bubble floated away.
Yeah.
It's nowhere right now.
Mm-hmm. It's nowhere right now. The bubble is basically anything that John Cena touches goes in the bubble, and mean things ignore that whatever's in that bubble.
With it, and you know what? Everyone's gushing about the match, and I just watch it. I have to care about one character. Styles is okay. He's got his moments. I understand that he's in the ring, but it's a character. He's just, I don't know. He's just there.
He's just a hobo. He's just a hobo in fancy red clothes.
He's always like acting really hard. He doesn't feel natural to me, so I don't believe him. And Cena is just Cena. I don't buy him. So
Yeah.
I did. All of that said, I did watch the very ending. When Cena started making that horrified face, I liked it because it was weird. And then when he took off his little Cena band and left it in the ring, I actually liked that because it was something other than
I win all the time.
Yeah. Look how I overcame these incredible odds against me. So yeah, that I liked the ending.
So, Jared, what was your thoughts on this match?
Favorite match of the night. Two guys were among the best in the company at what they do. Cena's face after the Super AA, that was just a priceless look. And I don't even know what that one move he added was. It looked like he was setting for a fallaway slam that he wound up doing into a cutter. And I just thought that was a lot better than that stunner he used to do, which was terrible.
I mean, obviously, Cena's been doing his tapes. Continue, Jared.
Yeah, but they brought the house down with that match, in my opinion.
Cool. What was your thoughts on the match, Andrew?
Yeah, this was absolutely my favorite match of the night too. I love AJ Styles' character. I feel like he's just an absolute prick, and I love that he's an absolute prick, especially when it comes to hashtag beat up John Cena. That's my favorite thing, and I'm sad that he got split from Gallows and Anderson, but I can only see good things coming in the future. And judging from SmackDown, a lot of good things are coming in the future for him.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So, Eddie, what were your thoughts on the match?
You know what? I'm glad this match was on the show, because if it wasn't, this would probably have been one of the 5 worst SummerSlams ever.
There are 5 worse SummerSlams than this?
1990?
I like that one.
1989?
I like that one.
1995?
I like that one.
No, you don't! Nobody
Yes,
likes
I do!
2006.
You know what, Eddie? I'll
2007!
because I've never seen them, so I'll just agree with you.
Nobody likes SummerSlam 95. I mean, Razor and Shaw from SummerSlam 95, I'll spot you that, but the show as a whole, nobody can like that. Nobody likes that show. It was awful. But 2010.
I like 97 and 2010.
No. Did I say 97?
Yeah, I think you said 97.
No, I said 95.
Oh yeah, I said yes to 95.
Are you two starting an angle here? What's going on?
Eddie versus 14 Fitzpatrick on Talking Cageside Seat.
I have made Eddie Corpse on air for some reason. So continue, Eddie, about the match.
Right. Yes, it was the best match on the show by miles and miles and miles. And if you're listening to this podcast, you should stop listening to it and go back and watch the Cena Styles match again. Do it now. Do it. My question to you is this before I finish my thought. Would you all have felt the same way about the match if John Cena had won?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I probably would.
I still wouldn't have watched it, so I
Well, there's your most surprising answer of the day.
And I'll tell you what, I think it's just part of a good point about the whole Cena bubble, because, it reminds me, and I'm about to show my age again, kids. It's the Hogan bubble. Everything that back in the day, back in both in WWF and WCW, everything that got caught in the Hulk Hogan bubble got worse when they came out of it. Go back. It's like it's absolutely true.
It's the traditional heel monster thing. So
Right.
I mean, but they also did that.
Yeah, I do have one last thought on that.
Sure, continue.
Unsurprisingly, it wasn't necessarily right after the match ended. Unsurprisingly, it wasn't about Styles won. It was about Cena lost. The focus is on Cena, obviously. Which is so,
It's bullshit. Is what it is. Yeah, I absolutely would not have had the same reaction if Cena won, because Cena should not have won. As much as I like him, what he's been doing lately,
Right.
it was not the right call for him to win, and I'm happy that he didn't.
Mm-hmm. So, Bacon, do you have any thoughts on this match?
Well, first of all, the really, really, really bad SummerSlam 2006. Check that one out. That show was horrible. Anyway.
Oh my God! Yes, it was.
Yeah.
That was awful.
It was. But anyway, back to the point at hand. I actually rewatched Cena and Styles this morning. Really good match. Biden's made a good point, though. It felt really, really, really PWG indie-like, which I could see that. It's just big move, big spot after big spot. Scoop cutter, yay. Yoshitonic, yay. Super AA, nice. Triangle Avalanche Frankensteiner, that was freaking awesome. But really didn't. It just felt like one of those Cena Owens matches from last year where it was just big spot after big spot. There really wasn't a huge amount of storytelling in it. But at least I was actually surprised that after the second Styles Clash, after the Phenomenal Forum, I was surprised Cena went down clean. I thought part of me was like, okay, Cena's going to kick out, there's going to A Styles, and we're back to square one, whoop-de-doo. But no, he actually stayed down. But like we said, Cena still had to be the last one on camera, put his little fancy never give up armband down. Yeah. Because Cena has to look really, really, really strong. Like not to use an old joke, but
it's not an old joke if it's valid.
It is valid. Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I mean, also, Eddie, you forgot to mention the Hulkamania is actually a far more dangerous effect because basically Hulkamania is powered by the souls of forsaken children. You want to know why so many smarks out there who were born in the 70s and 80s and 90s are so jaded? Well, that's because all their happiness and joy was drained out of them by this evil man known as Hulk Hogan to power his Hulk up sequences.
You...
And
I've never looked at it like that, but you nailed it.
Yeah, it's powered by a forsaken child.
Sounds like Freddy Krueger and Hulk Hogan get along really, really well.
Yeah.
And what does him leaving the Never Give Up armband in the ring signify?
Absolutely nothing.
Thank you.
Exactly. He's nowhere.
Absolutely. He's going to be back within 6 months.
Briefly give up sometimes. That can be snooping.
He gave up on WWE for a little while to go to Hollywood.
And make movies. Just like a certain hot air balloon.
Dwayne.
Certain hot air balloon who, as it turns out, made more money than any other actor in the past year. So,
Sure.
I mean, it worked out for him. So, good for him.
But every segment he's in, he's still basically a guy who's full of hot air and does nothing original.
So, pretty much just about everyone in WWE these days.
There are a few that are doing something different. Anyway, so
Name five.
next up is the match that Things tuned in for. The continuing odyssey of WWE World Champion Dean Ambrose. Which this was not their best showing, especially since they matched Dean Ambrose up with Mr. Ziggy.
Sorry, if I can jump all I loved all build-up they did on SmackDown. I thought they set it up in such a way that Ziggler wanted to win, and they feel like he actually could. And then it's just, I don't know. I tend to engage so easily with whatever he's doing, and I'm sitting there watching this match, going, "Okay, come on, do your thing, finish." Part of it is that he went into like this real jerky sort of character, which, certainly we can debate whether it's generally a jerk or not. I tend to think he's more of this character. And so for him to all of a sudden and just kind of degrading Dolph a little bit, there was no way I could cheer Dean for that. And so when he won, it's like, okay, well, big picture, I love you, but you're kind of being a jerk today. And so I didn't know what to feel like. It awkward and bad.
Yeah, this match was weird because they tried to position Dean as a heel and Dolph as a face when the alignment works better the other way because Dolph is naturally unlikable. So, Andrew, what was your thoughts on the match?
Completely agree with that last little point that you just said. Dolph is very unlikable to me, and Dean, I didn't understand what they were doing with the alignments there because Dean works better in the babyface role, and Dolph absolutely works better at the heel. The match was okay. I mean, I thought they had a pretty good match, but again, this was like another match where you're looking at it going, okay, this is a match, and why do we really care that much? Because it didn't seem like a big SummerSlam match. It felt like it could have been like a TLC match, or it could have been on, Fastlane. Actually, it could have been on Fastlane. I feel like that was a Fastlane match. Not a big, huge blockbuster for SummerSlam.
And if I can jump in again, they positioned it just right smack in the middle of the show, and so they kind of telegraphed the audience did not care. And that was frustrating because it's been the biggest belt in the universe. And then all of a sudden it's just like, oh yeah, okay, either take a deep break or watch the show.
Right, you can see that the audience didn't care really, and that's Brooklyn. That's my hometown. That's where I am right now. The Brooklyn audience, for the most part, for SummerSlam and Raw, were not that great. Especially when the Balor Rollins match came up.
Oh boy. Uh-huh.
I completely disown my Brooklyn crowd for that match, and I apologize.
Oh, it wasn't the crowd I had issue with, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So, anybody else have any thoughts on the Dean versus Ziggy match?
I'm glad Dean won.
I didn't like the match, but I did like the build. I like serious Dean, basically healing it up to Dolph, saying he's good, but he's not that good. I like that.
Okay, Chris, what are your thoughts?
Right, everyone said it was a really, really good build. All the alignments were sort of questionable, but the match, honestly, I felt like I was watching an Orton Sheamus match. It's like, yeah, I want to super kick you, yeah, satellite DDT, yeah. It just felt so. We've seen it before. Those two have had matches before, and to my recollection, they were not that good. And that's pretty much what we got. There was nothing that I remember being groundbreaking or even remotely good in that match. It just, happened. And the end of the match came. Ambrose won, and what were the consequences? Because I couldn't think of any.
Yeah. It looks like at this point that they're setting up a triple threat match between Dean, AJ Styles, and Ziggy for the belt.
So AJ Styles carrying a couple people. That sounds normal.
Oh wow! He's gonna. It's like him carrying two giant sacks of flour.
He can make that match good though. Good lord.
Yeah.
See, remember what he did back in TNA? Well, then again, that was 11 years ago when he had a triple threat match with Chris Daniels, really good, Samoa Joe, who was Samoa Joe 2005. Need we have any explanation? Those three went out and had an absolutely amazing match, which is literally. It's one of my maybe top 20 matches of all time, but with the people that AJ has to carry, it ain't gonna get close.
That's not gonna be possible. It was 2005, and Christopher Daniels and Samoa Joe, to their credit, are not Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler.
Nor should we ever speak of them in the same sentence ever again.
Because I think we may have just offended the wrestling gods there, and we already have enough bad luck from the Aztec gods cursing KM Tyranny all the time because of the times that we keep bashing Lucha Underground. Anyway, so we'll talk about something positive before the last two segments, which will mostly be, I guess, negative. So, Eva Marie, this starts off on a bit of a down note, got suspended for 30 days because she violated the WWE's wellness policy. Now, they had to do something to make this six-woman tag match work. Thankfully, a certain Queen of Strong Style decided to return. Nikki Bella has returned from her severe neck injury and defeated Naomi, Carmella, and Becky Lynch in 11 minutes and 7 seconds with her partners Natalya, who was also there, and the monstrous Pixie Hulk, Alexa Bliss. And I want to get your thoughts on this short match before we get to the last two segments. Elam, we'll start with you.
It was okay. It didn't really stand out to me. Not really a Nikki Bella fan. Unpopular opinion, I was more of a Brie Bella fan.
Well, Carmella now has her finisher because she turned heel the following SmackDown and just decided to try and destroy Nikki Bella. And I believe you named it the Mella Buster.
Yep.
Congrats, man.
She didn't give me credit, though.
At least the name is out there. So, Andrew, what were your thoughts on this 6-woman tag?
Very happy for Nikki to come back. Queen Nikki Sawa. I think that she was dealt a really bad hand with this injury, and now that she's able to come back, I think into a new women's division, because it was the Divas division when she left. I think that now that she gets to work with Carmella and work with Pixie Hulk and even get another stab at Bayley down the line. I meant Becky, but also at Bayley if they ever do another draft and they can go onto the same show. I think that she's now. It's going to be very interesting to see her perform with all these new call-ups. And I thought the match was pretty good. I like that they set up the heel turn for Carmella by Nikki getting the pin on her.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited for that feud.
I mean, Carmella has somehow found another gear and is just gone full Brooklyn Rage and is just destroying Nikki at every turn since the end of that match, although that's what happens when you get Bella hammered in the face.
Exactly.
So, let's see. Chris, what were your thoughts on this 6-woman tag?
Before I start, we need to be reminded this match was brought to you by Shreds. And second of all...
Shreds.
Yeah, there you go.
Many Z's.
I mean...
All Z's.
Okay, my thoughts about this match. Queen Sawa is back. Bella Hammer is awesome. I like her using the TKO, and I like the little quip where she said, "I'm back" before hitting it. However, Natalya should never, ever, 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 ever be allowed to speak again. Her banter game makes anybody look better. Like, I've seen better banter from Roman Reigns. I don't think he's ever bantered before.
I think his banter is okay. I mean, but, like, the thing with Natalya is that at some point Pixie Hulk's going to destroy her, and when that match or day comes, that will just be so, so wonderful.
It should be like that. It should be like the episode from Raw back in like 1999 where Stone Cold Steve Austin destroyed everybody. We just need to have an episode where Pixie Hulk just destroys everybody.
Yeah, like the very first SmackDown that aired, I was like, they had it as Battle Royale, and they said that anybody was eligible, and I was like, Pixie Hulk's going to pick up the ring, chuck everybody off of that ring, and smash whoever's left down on the floor.
5 stars.
Yeah, 5 stars right there. Her going on a rampage. So, Eddie, what was your thoughts on the 6-woman match?
I didn't watch it. Good to have Nick. Good to have you back, Nikki. Welcome back. Because seriously, neck injury is nothing to fool with. Yeah. I watched it. I didn't watch the match. I will say it was a match that happened. And in reference to Carmella turning on Nikki, I just wish all the bad things in the world for Carmella, like all. And in a few minutes, I'm gonna probably work on a voodoo doll, stitch it up in the form of Carmella, and just stick many, many, many pins and many needles into it.
Boo.
Will you be eating voodoo chips while you do this, Eddie?
Possibly, yes.
Because for those
I am wishing just like all the evil on this woman.
For those of you who
How dare
I'm sorry. For those of you who don't know what I'm referring to, on the East Coast we have this place called Wawa, which you people on the West Coast, a certain person I'm thinking of, hint, hint, has never heard of Wawa. They have these things called voodoo chips. They are spicy. They're like New Orleans spice or something like that. They're the best chips you'll ever have. When you're sticking pins in voodoo dolls, you want to be eating these. That's my side.
Well, now I know how to do voodoo properly.
There you go.
We're learning all sorts of stuff on the show today.
Should we listen to the Godsmack song with that?
Why not? You still need the goat head, though. We always need a goat head.
So, did you watch the match, Fangs?
I did. I'm always so torn on stuff because I want to like them more than I like them. The only one who I've been engaging is Becky, and so I need there to be somebody dark enough, bad enough, threatening enough for her to overcome. And I'm not. Everybody keeps talking about how great this Alexa Bliss is. I hope so. I haven't seen it yet. And Carmella, she is just. She has been like screaming through each match as a face, and I hope that that's her trying to get sympathy, and if that's over now. She was just go away with me. So I'm excited for her to be back because she'll be more watchable. Nice to have Nikki back. For me, when somebody first gets back from injury, it's always hard to watch them for the first couple matches because I'm just thinking about their injury. So she looked really strong, which was nice to see. And, yeah, I just hope we can get some more compelling stories going because for me, really I've been watching for over 2 years now. I've cared about Ben Becky.
I mean, at this point, there are only 2 wrestlers in the women's division. Well, 3 wrestlers, if I count Nikki, that I like. Nikki, Pixie Hulk, Bayley. At this point, everybody else is either in the indifferent category or in the dislike category in the case of Natalya. But we'll see how things go, because Carmella is starting to rise up the ranks there if she keeps doing what she's doing with this heel turn. I mean, she could potentially, like, cause the Cena bubble to be renamed the Carmella bubble.
It's really incredible what a bland, what a heel turn could do to a bland babyface if it's done right.
Yeah. So, after that good note, we now have to talk about the last 2 matches in the segment. Oh boy.
Somebody get my coffee.
Oh, wait, that's right. Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton fought at the pay-per-view.
Yes.
Yikes.
It was what some people would call a match, but the match that I'm a lot more angry about Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. And for those of you who don't know or have not seen other Cageside Speaks before, I have an apocalyptic hatred of Seth Rollins. And Seth Rollins, for the 3rd time, I've been keeping score, caused an injury to a performer. He broke John Cena's nose, injured Sting's back with a buckle bomb. Admittedly, he is doing a buckle bomb spot to a 56-year-old man. Probably should also be screaming at the agent who booked that spot. But now, Finn Balor is out 4 to 6 months with an arm injury because he landed awkwardly on the barricade because Rollins missed by about 10 feet and he had to catch himself. Otherwise, Finny would be in a wheelchair because he would have landed directly on his neck. And this is a 35 going on 36-year-old professional wrestler who has gone through all sorts of injuries in his career, including a large majority of shoulder injuries. And who thought this was a good idea? Who thought that having Seth Rollins, who apparently has the arm strength of a gerbil, throwing this man who only weighs about 190 pounds, I think, was a good idea? Because this was your golden gem. This was Triple H's golden gem down in NXT. This was the guy that was drawing the most amount of houses down there. And he works 1 match at SummerSlam, a bunch of matches on Raw, and he's done for 6 months. Thanks a lot, Triple R. That investment that Triple H gave into you is really working out for him so far, isn't it? Now that you've injured his golden boy. It might not be 27 grand pianos that will be dropping on Vince McMahon's head. It might be on yours.
All right, Fizzy. Sit down, take some water, relax after that one.
Okay, okay. Andrew, you go first.
Well, basically, I am right with you, buddy. Right with you on everything that you just said. I think that the match itself was a decent match, and the thing that pissed me off the most was the crowd just crapping on the new Universal title the entire time. It's not about the title that's being fought for, it's about the two men putting everything in the ring for you. Don't be... That's just nonsense. The match, I thought the match was pretty good. Of course, now we have 4 to 6 months out for Balor. And, there's another Cagesider named Brigade 17. We all know Brigade 17. I'm sure he is probably laying in a hospital bed right now. We love your Brigade. It's okay. He'll be back soon. But yeah, Rollins has to stop doing that move. He has to stop doing that move.
Yes. I mean, I don't mind buckle bomb spots if they're done right. Like, actually, there was a buckle bomb spot that was done correctly against the ring post in the CMLL show that I watched yesterday by Ultimo Guerrero. If Ultimo Guerrero can do it, then, like, why isn't Seth Rollins able to? I know that the arm strength has a lot to do with that, but, like, it seems silly that this is the only power move that he has. Why can't he think of something else? So, anyway, Eddie, what is your thoughts on the Finn versus Rollins match?
I also did not watch this match, but I have heard things about it. Damn it sucks Finn is out for 6 months because it just brings like all sorts of bad conspiracy feelings in my head. I'm not sure if I really want to get into them right now, but first and foremost, I just have this weird feeling Roman Reigns is going to win the title on Monday.
Yay!
It's probably going up after Monday, isn't it?
No, it's going to be going up, I think, either today or tomorrow.
Yeah. I just had this. If this goes up before Monday, spoiler alert: Roman wins the title on Monday.
Yay!
I just saved you 3 hours, everyone. You're welcome.
Well, I won't be watching the show anyway. So.
I won't be either. I'll be doing like literally anything else. Second, I forget who it was that mentioned it, but yes, shame on you, Brooklyn. Shame on you.
Because they chanted at the blood red title.
Yes.
I mean,
which brings me to this. WWE. Shame on you too. Could you have come up? I mean, I don't hate the belt. I don't hate the belt as much as other people do, but could you have come up with something better than that?
I mean, there was concept sketches of something like the winged eagle returning, but I really don't mind the belt. Looks like something that Carrie brought to her prom with.
That's a very good analogy.
Yeah. That was some prom party. So, Chris, what was your thoughts on the match?
I'm stuck on Carrie, but yeah, Seth Rollins, you're a tool, man. You were an absolute tool. Match was, happened. The crowd were a bunch of tools who all need to be put into Apocalypse. And it happened.
But what do you really think?
Oh, and LOL Roman wins. What's today? Today's Saturday. I can't remember what day it is.
Monday.
I'm actually on Fizz's side because I am a Roman Reigns fan, so I wouldn't technically mind Roman Reigns winning either. But I would much rather Kevin Owens win.
I don't hate Roman, but we've seen it. We've seen it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? We've seen it.
Yeah, we've seen it, and here's the problem. Like, I don't hate Roman Reigns either. Everyone else does, but I'm not huge. I'm not against him or anything. But if you're gonna do something like that, at least make it.
And
Good.
And isn't he like coming off a wellness suspension like not too long ago?
Yeah, like before Battleground.
I agree with you guys, even though I'm a fan of his. I would much rather Kevin Owens win, but, you know, what they're going to do, whatever they're going to do, and we're going to have to just suck it up and move on.
Or in my case, enjoy it.
Whatever.
Every minute of Roman's title reign. Elam, what's your thoughts?
I watched it twice, and neither time could I get into it. Especially the second time, knowing that Finn Balor got hurt on the buckle bomb into the barricade. And then a couple minutes later, Seth did another buckle bomb into the turnbuckle, and that made me cringe a little bit. So I just feel really bad for Finn. All that hard work to get to the main roster, and then 3 matches later, you're on the shelf for 6 months.
Got a question for everyone. Over under. 1/2 world title or universal. 1/2 more world or universal title reigns for Finn Balor.
Over.
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 I think that's pretty universal there.
I see what you did there.
I didn't even mean to do that, but it just
But
came to
wait,
me.
hold on. Why are we taking Seth Rollins as better? He's a big star. You got to remember that.
The Seth Rollins fans, they think he did nothing wrong, and it's all Finn Balor's fault.
But yeah, remember, Seth Rollins is a star. He can go to the front of airport lines. Remember that.
Wait, he cut in front of an airport line?
You didn't see the story in the Daily,
No.
did you?
No.
Well, short
Look.
story for everyone listening who doesn't join the Daily. Bo Dallas, first of all, Bo Dallas got kicked off an airplane.
Oh my goodness.
Bo Dallas got kicked off an airplane for drunkenly singing one of the Lion King songs. And apparently barely before all this happened, Seth Rollins cut in front of a bunch of people saying he's a big star or something like that. So it's out there. I don't have the link for it, but Google it. You'll find it.
Oh, God.
Well, it's not, to all the Seth Rollins fans, it's not Finn Balor's fault that I mute Seth Rollins every time he's on my television.
It's not Finn Balor's fault for me having basically embargoed every single segment and match that Seth Rollins has done since last year. I watched the match that he had when he won the belt from Roman. And I watched a segment of his with the New Day after the Zara Scriber thing happened to see the reactions. And that's about it when it comes to Seth Rollins stuff. I've had a year-long embargo on him.
Seth Rollins' voice.
Yep.
So,
Let's see.
Great.
Things. Do you have any other thoughts on this match, or should we move on to Orton versus Lesnar?
Well, I had never seen Balor. I just happened to overlap that done. So I tuned in for that. Intro, I thought that it kind of felt like The Undertaker, where it was like he starts and then 5 years later it's the match. And so to me, there was like nothing to do with the match that could follow that. Because he was like the mock guy, or whatever. And then they're just kind of punching each other. So I stopped watching for a zone. And the other thing that I struggle with is that we had the world title, and that was like the biggest thing in WWE. And then, we're going to add a new one. It's the universal title. And so I especially as the Ambrose fan, I took that kind of personally, that he gets to the top of the hill, and then the hill gets raked, apparently. So that annoyed me. I agree that the fans making so much noise about the color of the title, I felt like it kind of made it look like wrestling fans can never be satisfied with it. Because like here's a new belt. I have personal reasons for disliking it, but now we're going to scream at a match about the color of the belt leather. It felt very mature. And then, gosh, I have been going back and forth over this whole, how much should I hate Seth Rollins for injuring Finn Balor? I don't know, because I'm a very absolute person, so I have no idea what it's like being. I think he's getting a bad hurt of hurting so many people. I don't know. I feel weird armchair quarterbacking how they should wrestle, but at the same time, it sucks that poor guy got here after all that struggle and not able to surgery. I mean, that's terrible. So, I don't know. I hate the Seth Rollins character with basically a human being.
Good.
And I honestly try to separate that from the form, because my hatred stems from the chair shot the Shield incident. So I don't know how to be objective about this guy. I just don't.
Oh, man. So, yes, after all the hatred from Rollins and everybody in denial about Rollins didn't do anything wrong, we move into something that was apparently a match. I personally thought it was a lamb going to the slaughter, but I don't know how you guys feel about it. That's Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton. So, Randy Orton was assigned by WWE management to go on a jungle mission, not to find and kill Colonel Kurtz, but instead to find the ancient 1,000-year-old wizard named Paul Heyman. Instead, he found Paul Heyman's murder monster, Brock Lesnar. And Brock did him a really good job of beating Orton to a pulp. Well, more specifically, a bloody pulp, because apparently he legitimately shot on Orton to get him to bleed. Which has caused quite a few people to basically go, F you, Brock Lesnar, if Mrs. B wasn't already doing that already. And, well, what was our thoughts on this bloody beatdown that wasn't really interesting and really shouldn't have been in the main event slot? Let's start off with Elon.
I didn't like that at all. I don't know whose idea that was, if Brock did it on his own or if Vince's idea. I don't know. I don't know. I cringed at that. Seeing blood just leaking out of Orton's head like that. I don't get queasy, but I got pretty close to queasy on that.
Okay, things.
Brock can just go away.
Yeah,
I find them both marginally interesting as characters. Orton can be interesting, Lesnar can be interesting. And so I'm watching, and it was so rough, even before it got to the blood. I like wrestling because it tells me a story, but I still get the feeling athletic performers working together. And watching Lesnar just wail Orton, I felt that. And then when he started bleeding, I had my hands up on the face. I was trying to peek around and watch to make sure he survived. Thinking about it afterwards, what bothers me the most is that no matter what was pre-planned, that much blood could not have been pre-planned. And why didn't Brock just go, oh, look, I killed him, good for me. Why did he keep punching him when there were just buckets of blood? So that really bothers me.
Yeah, it bothered me too. I mean, like, why couldn't have Brock just done the thing where, like, look, I caught a mouse, Paul!
Right,
and
it's
been like a cat.
What else did he have to prove after it went that ugly? Just put your fist up and be preen up and walk away. I don't understand who wanted him to go and keep punching a guy clearly injured and more than one.
Also, they botched a table spot with Orton and Lesnar, so that was another thing that happened.
He doesn't do well for tables.
Yeah, Orton and tables and garbage cans are like his true nemesis. So, Chris, what was your thoughts on the match?
It was stupid. I mean, yeah, great. It's like every other Brock Lesnar match. Oh, look, punches, knees. Oh, look, Suplex City, yay. Oh, wait, the other guy hit a finisher, yay. And then it turned into some criminal beatdown, which was completely stupid. And if anything, it made Lesnar look good for when he eventually gets his win back from Goldberg, which is going to be absolutely terrible. There you go.
Oh boy.
I don't have any more. He doesn't deserve any more of my attention. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Andrew, what was your thoughts on the match?
Yeah. I like Randy Orton when he's motivated because that's when you can see like a twinkle in his eye and he actually cares about the stuff that he's doing. I thought he was pretty good in the build to this match, especially that RKO out of nowhere on Raw a few weeks ago. I like that a lot. But other than that, when it comes to Brock, for a while I didn't really see what people were saying when it came to him being kind of like a bad for the locker room and stuff like that. But now I completely have turned around and I completely see it. And to get to this ending, I think was completely unnecessary. You try so hard to promote this as a PG product, and then you go and do stuff like that, and then from that Jericho thing from the back, that story that came out, to then hide it from people and not tell people that that's what's happening, and Brock didn't go into business for himself. That's a really shitty thing to do, and I'm ready for there to not be any more Brock Lesnar. I'm ready for him to just go. The match was all right. I didn't really care for it. I didn't pay attention to it that much. And the ending with Orton just laying in a pool, literally, of his own blood. And for that to just service a Brock Shane angle, that's another thing that just puts it really sour in my mind. So, yeah, it was not a great way to close a mediocre SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the positive is that Shane is stuck working with Brock. Nobody that we really particularly care about is going to be facing Brock Lesnar at this point. It looks like it's just going to be Shane and Bill Goldberg. But Eddie, I know that we had a Tanya bomb earlier in the last broadcast. I'm not sure. Are you capable of doing an Eddie bomb?
I'll see what I can do.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I'll be honest with you, I did not watch this match either. But I have seen pictures, and as someone who watched the Attitude Era and liked most aspects of the Attitude Era, God, that disgusted me. I want to know who it was that put the stamp on this match. Who put the stamp on, okay, let's go with the TKO victory. Maybe bust them open. Using someone who has been popped not by WWE, but by USADA, that's the United States Anti-Doping Agency. They handle the testing for the UFC, and I believe they also handle the testing for WWE. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think they do, but I know some outside party does it. But someone who has been known to A, go to business for himself, and B, does not give a shit. And you put this, and this is what you come up with. Why? Just why? That's literally like my all-around thought on this on the main event. Just why?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, the person who put the stamp on it was Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
And the guys who were backstage were him and Triple H.
I don't know. It's really it was an unfortunate way to end SummerSlam, and it wasn't necessary at all. And Brock should pretty much just fade into the sunset. That's good enough for me.
He cannot at this point, and I say this as a guy who was a fan of his. He cannot go away fast enough now.
And this is who they gave Undertaker's streak to.
Yes!
I mean, that was
Yes!
and that's one of the first matches I ever saw. And I didn't know what I was seeing.
Things. I'm glad you're here, because if you weren't here, I was just going to just go on a explicit filter right now.
Unintentional censor.
Yeah.
Because I'm right now. You just brought up like all sorts of bad feelings. Just go away, Brock. Just go away.
I mean,
Go away. Just take whatever. Vince, I know you're not listening to this, but just in case you are, just write him a check for whatever's left on his contract. Pay him that, maybe plus 10% or whatever. I don't know how buyouts work or whatever. But just pay him that and just send him on his way.
I mean, he could give him all of those bank trucks full of meat that Ryback left on the table.
Just be gone.
Yeah.
Just be gone.
Why not shoot him with a
You
tranquilizer
broke
dart
Eddie.
and ship him to UFC? He'd be better there anyway.
I mean, the giant slug monster needs all the fighters that he can get.
Yeah.
Dana the Hutt needs all the fighters he can get.
Just
So, obviously, most of us didn't like that match, and some of us were neutral about it.
did not like for me. Does not begin to cover it.
Yes, and Eddie apparently hates this match with every fiber of his mortal being.
In fact, I want this whole show. Actually, Cliff Styles and Cena. Just say that match. But the rest of the show, burn it. Burn it! I just wanted to die in a fire, deep in the fires of Mordor. Yes, I know that is a Lord of the Rings reference. I do not care right now. I want the rest of the show to just die in the fire. Just throw that show in there and just
Isengard.
burn it.
Well, NXT is technically Isengard anyway, so...
Go full Shaq Fu with it. Just take every copy that exists and burn it.
Okay, this is great. This Apocalypse SummerSlam is really living up to its name.
If there's a DVD or Blu-ray, and I know there is, just recall it, take every copy of it, burn it.
Eddie will supply the fire.
Burn it!
Okay.
Nuke it from orbit is the only way. It is the only way to be sure.
Meteor 2016.
Okay, so let's wrap up with our final thoughts here. We'll start off with Eddie's.
I think if I knew you were going to do the final thoughts now, I was going to say this rant for now, but my final thoughts. God damn it, what a stupid show, what a stupid company, and Brock Lesnar, what a stupid, stupid man.
Oh, we haven't had a CSL reference on here yet. That's the first time. Okay, Elam, what are your final thoughts on the show?
Bleep the show. Bleep the show.
Eddie took my line. I was going to say, what a stupid show.
That's two. Okay, continue.
I'm looking forward to Styles versus Ambrose. Maybe Styles can help Ambrose find that serious side, which I do like from him. Roman Reigns, I like the guy. Although I can't say I really want him to be world champion right now. That would be 4 reigns in less than a year. But he's better than Rollins. Can't stand him.
Much better. Things. What are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are go Team SmackDown. And I really don't know what else that needs to be said.
Go Team SmackDown.
Watch SmackDown be awful this week too.
It's gonna.
You know what's funny though is for a lot of people it's gone up and down. Good day. I just like it. I guess I'm easy to please, but I've liked it every week. I'm gonna like it this week.
I am pre-prepared to hate SmackDown on Wednesday morning.
Okay. Chris, your final thoughts.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the internet, if you want to watch some wrestling with some really, really good and logical stories, may I present 2 options. Number 1, NXT. Number 2, TNA Impact. Tune in every Thursday for some good wrestling.
Obsolete.
Delete.
Aaron.
Rex. Things is one of Things' faves. Also, 2 other options. Evolve Wrestling is really good right now, although their champion is kind of getting the X-Pac heat. And Friday nights, Tuesday nights, and Monday nights, CMLL.
I have another option.
CWC. Forgot CWC. I feel bad now.
Yep.
I have another option.
Yep.
Classic Raw, Classic SmackDown on the WWE Network. I honestly would rather watch that over TNA, and that's not just because I don't have the network that has TNA.
Or what we're doing the retro blog on tonight, we're watching ECW Hardcore TV.
Yeah. 7 o'clock in the East, 4 in the West, and 1 o'clock in Hawaii. Yeah, we're doing. I'm doing the April 23rd and April 30th episodes of Hardcore TV tonight.
Coolness.
April 23rd, April 30th, 1996. There was a little segment that's sandwiched like at the end of the 23rd and the beginning of the 30th. I linked it in the description of the show, and yeah, you can pretty much figure it out from there.
Okay, Drew, your final thoughts.
Hashtag Team SmackDown. That's it.
Yeah. Well, SummerSlam has definitely earned its title of the Apocalypse Show. It was a show that a lot of people had trouble just getting through these 6 hours. We didn't even cover most of the pre-show, but those matches were good. Well, let's hope the next WWE pay-per-view is a bit better than this one because it just left a sour taste in everybody's mouths, and we don't really want to feel that again. For this ends this edition of Cageside Speaks. My name is 14 Fitzpatrick. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to watch the NXT TakeOver Revenge of Brooklyn show that will also be airing within this next couple of days. And watch on CagesideSeats.com. Watch on Cageside Seats' Twitter at Cageside Seats. Watch on YouTube at Cageside Seats. And we'll see you next time for the next edition of Cageside Speaks on CagesideSeats.com, the best place for professional wrestling on the internet that you will find today.
Burn them all! Burn them all!
Stupid shit.
And Eddie's going to go get some torches and pitchforks. Have a
Burn
good day,
them
folks.
all!